Tuhin Sinha, I want to begin by asking you. This is constitutional impropriety, says the AIMIM. The inauguration should have been done by the Speaker of Lok Sabha and not the Prime Minister.
Well, good evening, Gaurav. Today's allegations leveled by AIMIM and the other opposition parties only confirm their bankruptcy when it comes to potent ideas, as well as their outrageous hypocrisy. In 2020, when the Honorable Prime Minister had laid the foundation for the new parliament, most of these opposition parties had boycotted it. They in fact went to the extent of stalling the construction of the new parliament by all sorts of false cases, which were eventually dismissed by the honorable courts. So if you look at purely in terms of precedence or propriety, there is nothing which stops the honorable Prime Minister from unveiling it, so long as the honorable Speaker of the Parliament of the Lok Sabha was present over there. Okay. I think you need to give the credit to Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji. In record time, the new parliament has been constructed. When, in fact, from 2012 onwards, when the Lok Sabha Speaker, then Lok Sabha Speaker Meera Kumar ji specifically mentioned that a new parliament was needed, the Congress sat on it. They didn't want the construction.
Okay. So let's take this one by one. Arshpreet Karyal, the Congress is being accused of hypocrisy. When invited for the foundation stone laying ceremony, the BJP says the Congress did not show up, tried to put roadblocks. Now they're saying, why weren't we invited? Sandeep Dixit says, why wasn't the opposition invited?
The gentleman from the BJP has clearly forgotten that at that point of time, it was COVID hitting us really hard. People were starving. There was no food, there was no shelter, there was no clothes with them, and that point of time we were spending an exorbitant amount upon one building. We had a problem with that, but that does not mean that it's BJP's money. It's the taxpayers' money, the very taxpayers, that 150 crore people. They are not the only ones who represent them. Half of them is being represented by the opposition, and this is not BJP's building. It's a symbol of democracy, and for that matter, India's Congress party has contributed 95% of India. So should we say that we would bar BJP from coming to that place? We can't say that, right? Because we would not go so low. And second of all, it's very much right to say that the inauguration, the unveiling should have been done by the Speaker, or for that matter, even the President. It shouldn't have been done by the Prime Minister, because when he's in the building, he's leader of the House. He does not control the House, and by not inviting the opposition, he has basically sidelined 60 to 70 crore people. That you have nothing to do with the parliament, and how can we even do that? And I have not been able to understand that. Why does it have to be done in a piecemeal manner? Why do they not do everything and after that unveil? So that, time...
So there are three aspects you've raised. We'll get a response from the ruling party on each one of the points that you've raised. But let me bring in Rahul Srivastav on the first aspect. Rahul, merit in Sandeep Dixit and the Congress, of course, saying, why wasn't the opposition invited? Also, is this constitutional impropriety that the Prime Minister inaugurated the National Emblem and not the Speaker? The Congress now says, in fact, it should have been the President.
Gaurav, let's take it point by point. Invitation to opposition leaders. If you recall the 10th December 2020 foundation stone laying ceremony by the Prime Minister of the new building of Parliament, it was boycotted by Congress and several opposition parties. Later, last year, the Constitution Day, which is celebrated across the country, it was attended by the Prime Minister and others. The entire opposition boycotted the ceremony. So this disharmony between the government and opposition is now a known thing, and it is perhaps a bad precedence which is being continued, one by the opposition by boycotting, and now if the opposition has not been invited. The second important element raised by Sandeep Dixit, perhaps, which does merit a look, is the fact that why there was not Sarv Dharm interfaith kind of...
Rahul, I'm coming to Sarv Dharm in just a moment. I want to stay on the issue of impropriety and was there a violation of the Constitution. I'll come to Sarv Dharm in just a bit. But let's take this point by point. Respond to Tuhin Sinha when the opposition says Tuhin Sinha that not the Prime Minister, who's leader of the House, this should have been done either by President of India or by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha?
You know, at every given opportunity, this opposition ends up exposing its pathological hatred for the Honorable Prime Minister. Tomorrow, given their IQ levels, they might demand that the leader of opposition should be unveiling the statue. There is no precedent, there is nothing which violates the propriety, the protocols if the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, unveils it. Please acknowledge the fact that the cost of this project, as well as the time in which it has been constructed, the role of the Honorable Prime Minister has been instrumental. It would not have happened without these efforts. It was anyway inevitable for us to have this new parliament by 2026, given that after delimitation, the requirement for total members would have increased by nearly 30%. If we have completed it before time and the Honorable Prime Minister has been instrumental in it, I don't see any reason why he should take a back seat.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Respond, Arshpreet Karyal.
Just one second.
The opposition
sometimes feel that Andolan GVs have a problem with the honor upon Shram GV.
Okay, you're calling the opposition Andolan GVs. As the ruling party spokesperson, sir, you're calling the Congress or the opposition Andolan GVs.